Right. Are we live? I do believe I do believe we are live. All right. Welcome back to the stream. Sorry, it's been a little bit. It's been a while. It's been a while. It is hot as the devil's kitchen out here in San Diego, and I'm just trying to get everything set up for stress testing and heat testing because apparently my internet likes to go out when it's 95 degrees. But we're here. I don't know how many of you guys actually know. What up, Pyro? I don't know how many of you guys actually know what's going on in the world. But if you do know, you know we are at war with Iran and all these other people and a bunch of stuff going on. And in the midst of that, we have some run of the mill distractions going on. You guys know when we start doing stuff like war and weird stuff and Epstein files, the government does not want to be forthright with what's going on. So they're going to put a distraction in your face. Bread and circus. It is what it is. And for today, our bread and circus today is this documentary on the Manosphere. Now, I'm sure everybody knows what the Manosphere is. Everybody knows who Myron Gaines is, Fresh and Fit, Andrew Tate, everything like that. That's the Manosphere. Now, the reason I say that this is a distraction is because the Manosphere is pretty much dead at this point in time. It came, it went, it did its thing, and nothing really changed. The Manosphere. I did a whole video about this. The Manosphere was never supposed to be this place where people go on a permanent basis. It was always supposed to be a bit of a rest stop. Like you were supposed to go there, you were supposed to get what you needed, in terms of like motivation, knowledge, right? And you were supposed to go on about your way, right? It was always supposed to be a rest stop on the highway for the most part. Now, all of that happened, and in the midst of all of that happening, the mainstream media never wanted to touch the red pill because of what the red pill was talking about. Right now, if you know the history of the red pill, it started off as the men's rights advocates and or activists. Right, it was the MRAs. Right, this is your Tom Likas and people like that. This was like before, like let's say 2015 and prior. These were guys who were married, they had kids, the marriage falls apart, the wife takes the kids, she does all this, crazy stuff in court, she gets them, thrown out of the house, and she has all these tricks and whatnot. And she pulls all these tricks, and the guy has never seen this a day in his life. He's going to court thinking he's going to be able to tell the judge his side of the story, and the judge is like, nope. And like the girl is like a ninja. And it's like it's happening to millions and millions of men. And some of those men take to public access, they take to the internet, radio, and they start talking about their experiences, and they come together and they say, hey, I've had the same experience. A couple guys write books, some people do some seminars, the internet blows up, and all of a sudden we have the men's rights activists. That was the space that preceded the red pill. Now, the economy in America, and I promise you, there's a reason I'm going through all of this. I promise you. We're going to review a video that pretty much proves the Manosphere right in every way, which is why I laugh at this, this little expose. So yeah, the history of the Manosphere, right? We keep going forward, and we start seeing the Manosphere kind of turn into other things, and it starts blowing up into this other kind of space. The MRAs, they're talking their talk, and the internet is getting big, and people start coming on. And around 2014, 2015, we get Kevin Samuels types. Like, in case you guys didn't know, Kevin Samuels has been in the game for a long time. Rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. Now, he came in here into the space more from the standpoint of like fashion and how to talk to women. He was closer aligned to the pickup artists. Right, you had the pickup artists and you had the fashion guys, and he was more of a fashion guy. And his whole thing was men need to fix themselves, men need to up their game, men need to be more on their game. Okay, that's great. Well, the problem is nobody really went for that. Nobody was trying to hear that. When Kevin Samuels and people like him were talking about men leveling up, no one listened. So you had these angry guys dealing with, breakups and divorces and alimony and all of this. They were listening to the MRAs. Kevin Samuels and some of the pickup guys start talking. The pickup guys got a lot of traction, right? The pickup guys got a lot of traction. And what happened was a lot of this pickup stuff was garbage and a lot of it was gold. And the women, they didn't like that. The women didn't like the pickup guys because the women didn't like that men were able to read them and say, okay, if I do this and she does that, then I can do this, and this is how I can get sex. They looked at it as manipulation. Okay. So they started rolling all these guys into the same category. The pickup guys, the MRAs, and what would soon be known as the Manosphere. Right? Now this is like 2010 to 2018, 17, 18. So the pickup guys are doing their thing, and they're kind of giving the space a bad name. All the while, the MRAs are doing their thing, and they're just trying to put out information that's healthy for men, right? And this is what you look out for. This is, how you defend yourself in court. This is female nature, yada, yada, yada. So when we start talking about the manosphere and why the women hated it and why the mainstream media hated it, you had two things going on. You had what was going to become the manosphere. You had these guys essentially warning men about female nature and warning them, about how society, favors women. And then you had the pickup guys doing the more what we now call money, muscles, game, frame, right? Pyro said, "You're talking about the pickup, the pickup roaches that the red pill hate." Yeah, like the pickup roaches, because these guys were faking the funk. A lot of these guys were faking the funk. The pickup guys were out here essentially saying, you could be broke, busted, and disgusted, and as long as you say this thing and you do this thing and you wear this cologne and you have your hair cut like this, the girls will go for you. So the thing is, we all know women are horrendous judges of character. So in a manner of speaking, they weren't wrong. And the pickup guys were kind of like this. The game was kind of sort of working. We all know women don't like nice guys. Nice guys finish last. So the pickup guys who were like, "Oh, just treat her poorly," they were kind of getting traction with that. There's a whole segment of like negging and all of that where they talk about, oh, you give her backhanded compliments, right? Oh, that dress looks good. I didn't think it would look good on someone with your body type. Like you're complimenting her, but at the same time you're kind of knocking her down a peg, and that actually does kind of work. The problem is it works for who it works for. And then the person who it doesn't work for, it just seems toxic and terrible. So just the same way the MRAs started taking notes on how society treats women and favors women and how, women's nature is, women started taking notes on these pickup guys. And by the time the manosphere was kind of born, and I would say, the manosphere as we know it was born maybe 2018-ish, if we're being generous, 2018. You have by 2018 you have your coach Greg Adams, you have your Rollo Tomasis, you got, you have your black manosphere, your white manosphere. Coach Greg Adams does not align with the black manosphere, but he's black, so it can go either way. Then you have your Rollo Tomasis. Then you have your Donovan Sharps. Then you have your Better Bachelors. You have your Fresh and Fits and alpha male strategies and all of these guys. You have all these guys. He said, "I love using backhanded compliments." Did people get mad? The people get mad. So they would laugh at me instead. Yeah, I mean they work. The backhanded compliments do work. Like if you have a good personality and everything like that, and you're dressed presentable, and it works. It works. But like I said, it works for who it works for. So you see what's going on. Like the Manosphere as we know it today is being born, and around 2018, it really catches its wings. Fresh and Fit take off like like a bat out of hell. They just take off. Boom. They come up with the idea to bring women on the show, talk to them, debate them. They're obviously prepared for the debate, so it's kind of a one-sided debate. They know women are going to react in a negative way. The women react in a negative way, and then they kick the women off the show. Get out. Boom. Right? And that right there was gold. Like that right there, the moment Myron from Fresh and Fit did that, the Manosphere as a whole struck gold. Or wrong button. Anyways, the point of the matter is, when that happened back in 2018, the Manosphere as a whole had a formula for operation. What all of these men were going to do, where they were going to just debate women, bring them either on panels, go out into the street. They were going to talk to the women, bring them on, get them a little drunk. And this is where, this is where we get our Fresh and Fits, and this is where we get our whatever podcast. The Whatever podcast is absolutely enormous. If you guys didn't know, the guy who does the Whatever podcast, Brian Atlas, he used to be a prankster, and he ran his channel up to like 4 million subscribers doing pranks. And then YouTube got rid of pranks. So he did a complete 180 rebrand. That's how powerful the Manosphere was. Now, during all of this, obviously Kevin Samuels comes to power. And Kevin Samuels is he's far and away the leader of the quote unquote Black Manosphere. Now, Kevin Samuels did something a little bit different. Kevin Samuels would come out and he would do a monologue of sorts. He would come out, he would do a monologue, and then he would like maybe do a reaction video, or he would have like a whole spiel set up, but mostly he would let women call in. And he would let women call into the show, and he would be in a suit and a tie, and he'd have, a drink and, a intimately lit setting, dark lights and all of that. And keep in mind, this guy came from the world of fashion, and he was an older guy, and he was the kind of guy that a lot of women would have been attracted to, especially older Black women. Like Kevin died at 56, 57, or something around there, maybe 55. I don't know. He was in his mid 50s when he died, and he got on like maybe 4 years earlier. So he didn't get to enjoy his success very long, but he died in his mid 50s. So he was around that age where older Black women like 35 and up would be looking. So what happened was he took the Black Manosphere by storm. If you guys don't remember, Kevin Samuels was so big, he was in a Future video. Future the rapper had him as an intro point in his video. He did a sit down with Brittany Renner. I think he had a call in with Nicki Minaj. And when he died, BET honored him. So this guy was about to go mainstream. He was definitely breaking containment. Okay. So the only reason that I go through all of this is because it's going to make sense when I show the video. I go through all of this to make you guys understand the Manosphere was going mainstream. It has been trending toward mainstream for a very, very long time. And the absolute only thing that stopped it was Kevin Samuels dying. Now, Kevin Samuels dies, and at around the same time he dies, 2022-ish, Andrew Tate pops up on the scene. Now, Andrew Tate, I'm not going to do a whole disposition on him, but I would say Andrew Tate's greatest contribution to the Manosphere, to the internet, to pop culture was introducing the world to clippers. If you guys don't know, Andrew Tate never had a YouTube channel, a TikTok, an Instagram, none of that. What he had was a network of people who took his clips, his shorts, his reels, his TikToks. He had those people and he just paid them to post them. And the more views they got, he would pay them. And this is where we get clipping from, believe it or not. This is why clipping is as popular as it is, because he was paying these people for what we call in the business world social penetration. I want to penetrate society and I want to put myself out there and I want to be the biggest thing. Now, this eventually ended up catching up to Andrew Tate, but Andrew Tate said a lot of crazy stuff. He led a very crazy life, and we all know what ended up happening. He got locked up in a Romanian prison and all of this, and it ended bad for him. Now he's getting knocked out on brand risk boxing and all of this. It ended bad. But the point of the matter is, in a lot of ways, the Manosphere and everything that it stands for, everything that they talk about, is that he was not working. Well, no, he wasn't working. he wasn't really doing nothing. But like the Manosphere and everything that it stands for, it was about to go mainstream several times. And it was really just like happenstance. Now, the reason that I bring all this up is because this documentary comes out, and this is not the first documentary. It said, oh yeah, he was networking the heck out of the internet. He was a king networker. Andrew Tate was like the greatest networker ever. And I mean, your network is your net worth. So like he knew what he was doing. Like he struck gold. But the thing is, they cooled Andrew Tate off. They cooled him off quick. when they sat him down for that year in that prison, for that time, because that whole year, what was it, 2024, 2025? I think it was 2024. That whole 2024, he was inactive, right? They shut him down. But the reason I bring all this up is because we see these documentaries starting to come up. The most recent documentary, the Inside the Manosphere, this isn't the first time. This is not the first documentary about the Manosphere. There have been documentaries, there have been docudramas, there have been people who have gone on different shows and tried to, speak up for the Manosphere. And every time that happens, it never goes the way the person thinks. In case you guys didn't know, 2018 was the adpocalypse for a lot of YouTube because a Manosphere guy, a red pillar, went on a mainstream talk show and he thought he was going to talk red pill talking points, and that didn't happen. They shut him down. They just made him look stupid. They talked over him. They asked him like extremely incendiary questions. It was a whole it was a whole debacle. He said, true. He lost the aura. Yeah, he went from hot to cold. Andrew Tate went from blazing hot to cold. I've never seen nobody lose aura like that. So when we talk about this, we have to understand they've been trying to take the red pill down for a while. And it's mostly because the red pill keeps getting hot and staying hot around, political timeframes. When there's a presidential race, they want to shut it down. When there is a war going on, they want to shut it down. Well, the red pill kind of came and it went. The red pill kind of served its purpose. ABBA and Preach, they're not red pillars, but they have done so many, pieces, so many hit pieces on people like Sneeko, on people like Myron, and all these other red pills. The red pillars they lived long enough to see themselves become the villain. They talked all the talking points. They all got exposed for, buying women, and they got exposed for this and they got exposed for that. And it kind of ran its course. And the people who were like really, really big on the red pill in 2018, 19, well, these guys are like pushing 30. These guys are 26, 27, right? A lot of these guys got a hold of the red pill when they were like early 20s, maybe like 18, 19. So now, like, not only have they grown out of it, but the economy is in the dumps. We're in a war. And then Nick Fuentes pops on the scene. Well, when you talk all these red pill talking points, and then the economy is trash, and then there's really no hope, like, because women aren't slowing down. They're like, women aren't changing. You're talking all the talking points and saying, hey, I know what you guys are doing. You need to stop. And the women don't stop. And then all of a sudden, this guy who was basically, he who should not be named, Nick Fuentes, like, when that guy breaches containment and now all of a sudden he's like a megastar, what do we really need the red pill for at this point? And then Donald Trump gets into office and says, hey, you can't discriminate against content creators because they're talking about controversial things. So kind of like, you know, a rapper is only popular if we don't know he's a loser, right? If we really think that a rapper is out there shooting and selling drugs and all that, then okay, yeah, he's going to sell a gajillion records. But once you fall off, you fall off. Well, once we have Nick Fuentes and he can go out there and say all the crazy stuff he says, well, we've already heard Myron say all this other crazy stuff. So now we kind of don't need the red pill. Like the political red pill, the Groyper movement, like that's the next step, because these young males are seeing that the world sucks and it's bigger than just women. It's like our government is screwing us over, and there's this outside entity, according to Nick Fuentes, it's Israel. There's this outside entity that's behind it. So now that's what they're on to now. Now it's the Groyper movement. So what do we really need the red pill for at this point? He said a YouTuber who I watched said, if you get rid of all the red pill channels and accounts, women won't change. Gays are going to ask what's going, and guys are going to ask what's going on with women and start asking questions. Yeah. I mean, if you get rid of all the red pills, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. You can snap your fingers, get rid of the red pill. Nothing's going to happen. But like at this point, the damage is done. Right. At this point, the damage is done. Guys are going to be confused. They're going to be like, whoa, what's going on with these women? You get rid of the red pill, at least if you have the red pill, at least men are aware. You get rid of it, everybody goes back to sleep, essentially. Everything goes back to the dark, right? But women aren't going to change. They don't have to. Women don't have to change because there's too many stupid men out there. So the thing with the red pill is it died off because we saw the trick 1 time, 2 times, 10 times. We saw Myron kick out all the women. We saw Sneeko get exposed 1 million times. Like, what more do we really need to talk about, right? So the reason I bring this up is because now this documentary is coming out, and I believe that the documentary is mostly a distraction from the stuff going on in Iran, right? And it's a very sloppy hit piece. They're trying to, make Myron and some other people look bad. I think Myron is in it. They talk about Andrew Tate. I think they talk to Andrew Tate, and then they talk to some other people. Now, you'll notice that they bring on people like Justin Waller. Justin Waller was never a big name in the space. He was just associated with people like Andrew Tate, or Fresh and Fit, I should say. Essentially, they're trying to expose the guys who went down to Florida in Miami and they were playing the Kanye song. I'm not going to repeat it online, but you know what Kanye song I'm talking about. So that's what this all is. Now, the reason I bring all this up is because, like I said, I want to show you guys a video that kind of perfectly illustrates what the red pill was talking about and why you really can't. It's too late to take the red pill down. It's too late to say, oh, we're going to expose you guys. The men have been woken up. You are, as my grandmother used to say, a day late and a dollar short, right? You are preparing for a race on Wednesday that was ran on Tuesday. Like, it's too late. So with all of that out of the way,
the concept of being famous for being attractive is a strange one for the average person to fathom, as while Hollywood has been dominated by people who are genetically blessed in one way or the other, they usually supplement that with some other talent. But for someone like India Love, the opportunity to try and sing or appear on TV came as a direct result of her looks.
Okay, so this is a documentary, or not a documentary, just like kind of a piece done by the YouTuber Luesta, and he's talking about India Love. If you guys don't know who India Love is, it's going to get explained in the video, but essentially she's a socialite. She is famous for being famous. That nothing more, nothing less. Like, she doesn't sing, she doesn't dance. She just dates rappers, streamers, and athletes and stuff like that. So that's who India Love is. But like I said, this is all going to explain why it's too late to take down the red pill.
rather than any skills that she exhibited beforehand. After making waves online since the Tumblr days.
Okay, I'm gonna have to keep stopping this because there's a lot in this. He said she's been making waves online since the Tumblr days. I don't know if you guys remember Tumblr. Tumblr came out in '07. It was kind of like a direct competitor to, Facebook and MySpace. It was a blog page, and it was one of the top tier blog pages. Not quite as fun as MySpace, not quite as popular as Facebook, but it was there. So that just gives you an idea of what we're dealing with and how far back this girl goes. She's 30, by the way.
India Love transitioned to the OG Instagram baddie, and even once landed a reality TV show on BET titled The Westbrooks.
Okay, I don't know if you guys caught that, but she was on BET and she had a show. It was called The Westbrooks. Her real last name is Westbrook. Now, the reason that this is important is because IMDb, the video people, the people who like review movies, they have this show dated back to 2013. But the show didn't actually appear online or on BET until 2015. Now, she was 18 going on 19 in 2015 when the show officially aired. Yeah, like Tumblr was basically Twitter before Twitter. That's exactly what it was. And I'm going to explain a little bit more about Tumblr in just a minute. It says that she was like this show ran from 2015 to whenever. Well, in all actuality, this girl was on Tumblr by 2013. She was on Tumblr and she was getting popular. Keep in mind, she doesn't have any talent. She's not a singer. She's not an actor. So why did they give her her own TV show on BET at the age of 18 going on 19? Well, they did that because of what she was doing on Tumblr/Instagram. Now, Tumblr, like Pyro pointed out, Tumblr was basically Twitter before Twitter. And the key component to Tumblr was the adult material that they let you upload. Tumblr was like they were almost completely dependent upon people being able to upload adult material. And this is where she gets famous. Now, she's not uploading adult material, but she's uploading, beauty pics, suggestive pics. I don't know if Tumblr had like a DM function where she could DM people or anything like that and send them, extra spicy stuff. But she's on this site that is overly dependent on adult material. Tumblr was so dependent on adult material that it basically collapsed in 2018, 2019, when they said they were going to stop allowing people to upload adult material. And as a result, do you use Tumblr now? Like, Tumblr died instantly. When they did that, overnight it died. So Tumblr is not like Instagram. Like, Instagram doesn't allow nudity to that extent. It's not like X or Twitter. It's not like these other places. Like, it was a blog site and people mostly blogged adult stuff. And once that was gone, poof. So this is going to give you an idea of who this chick is and why she got famous. This girl was infamous as a teenager. So she's 15, 16, 17 in 2013, 2012, going into when this show starts to air. Now, the reason IMDb says that her show on BET started in 2015 is because a lot of times when you're like a social media person, and especially when you have questionable social media, background, what happens is BET or whomever is putting up the money for this show, they will go back and they'll buy your back catalog of content, because they typically don't want you to be able to do their show and then also go off and do something that could embarrass the show or make it look bad. So that's why it says we own, like the show started in 2013, because they're taking her back catalog that dates back to 2013. So when IMDb says, oh, this show started in 2013, and in all actuality it didn't start till 2015, it's because they're buying all the material that made her popular, because they don't want her to go upload more stuff. They don't want her to go make herself look bad, that whole deal. So this just gives you an idea of what this girl was doing and at what age. She was underage when she was posting all this stuff that made her so popular that she got her own TV show. And keep in mind, she is one of 5 sisters, and she's the youngest. Okay, she's the youngest of 5 sisters by a pretty good margin. So that means that this family is so messed up. They let the baby of the family take her clothes off while she's underage on Tumblr. And keep in mind, it's not full nudity. It's mostly just glamour pics and stuff like that. But they let her post enough stuff and do enough stuff on Tumblr, a blog site, while she's underage, that it catches the attention of executives at BET. So she's obviously posting some stuff that's out there. He said the thing Tumblr died because, I mean, look, Tumblr only had that one thing going for it. The only thing Tumblr had going for it was corn. Don't nobody want to go to Tumblr. Why go to Tumblr when you can go to Instagram, when you can go to Twitter, who got the same things, and it's a lot more fun. Ain't nobody going to Tumblr after that. And she said underage. No wonder he was on that site. Yeah, like the internet used to be a wild place. The internet used to not check for age verification. That's relatively recent, like 2018ish. So.
Now, she has almost 650,000 followers on Twitch, but I can bet that this isn't really why you know her. Because for those who've either consciously charted her journey, or simply saw her name crop up from time to time in the news, what India is best known for is being a love interest to the stars. And when it comes to men she's been with, there's a lengthy roll call to say the least. And now, 10 years plus since her star-studded dating life began, it appears that the emotional toll of this reckless run of high-profile relationships is beginning to become apparent.
I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot in my teenage phase. I went through a lot in my 20s.
Okay, I'm gonna have to stop this a lot for like fair use purposes. This chick is praying to God. As you guys all know, the American woman, like the final boss, the final form, like we don't know Frieza's final form. We don't know Goku's final form. Right? Super Saiyan 5, 7, Super Saiyan God 19, I don't know. But we know every 304's final form is the Christian rebrand. Or in Brittany Renner's case, the Muslim rebrand. Women, they get tapped out, like they get drugged through the mud, and when they are ready to settle down and be taken serious, they turn to God. All of a sudden, we're opening the book of Corinthians. All of a sudden, we're fasting in prayer. All of a sudden, we speaking in tongues and all that. Man, get out of here. So that's what she's doing here. And like I said, this is why it's too late to shut the Manosphere down. The Manosphere exposed this, right? If you guys don't know, this is one of the major talking points that the Manosphere talks about, is how women will rebrand themselves once they've gotten run through. Also, the reason I mentioned her age and how Tumblr, worked. If you watch people like Coach Greg Adams, he'll tell you that when it comes to women, they get exposed to sex very early. They get exposed very, very early. They jump off the porch very, very early. I don't know. I've never checked her Tumblr. I know Tumblr is still active, but I don't know if her page and her material is up there. She was posting something on what amounts to an adult site at a very young age, 15, 16, 17, and she posted enough of it, and it was good enough to get her own TV show, her and her whole family. So it had to be something more than, it had to be something. So this is one of the things that the Manosphere talks about, how early women jump off the porch. And then they'll turn around and say, well, it was the big mean man who made me do it. And in all reality, no man is making you post yourself on this site when you're 15, 16. But what the women will say is, well, the men are creeps for looking at it. And it's like, that's not how it works. Like, that's not how it works. So when we start talking about why this documentary is a waste of time, everybody knows that this is what women do. So when I tell you that this chick is posting herself half naked on a pseudo adult site, no one's going to be shocked by this because they all know, oh, this is female nature. Like, that's just what it is.
I made a lot of mistakes, and there was a lot of people who drugged me through the dirt for it.
He said, that's true. The church is dead because of this. Yeah, the church died. The church is dead. Like, shout out to, I go to church, like, shout out to you if you go to church, but people don't go to church because stuff like this, because they know all the women in there, single moms, divorcees, 304s, trying to bounce back. Nah, like, come on, man, we ain't falling for that.
And I believed it for a long time until I knew who I really was and whose I really was, which is yours, Lord.
So she's trying to switch things up before it's too late. It's your boy Luesta, and this is the traumatic world of rap's serial girlfriend, India Love. And unfortunately for the IG starlet, it basically began the minute she was 18. Back when she was still growing up, India was only ever linked to her high school sweetheart, Ron Robinson, a football player who wound up being recruited to UCLA, but ultimately never made the league.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it here. So you see, she's dating a guy, and there's nothing wrong with this. She's dating a guy who is good enough to get recruited. Most likely he got a scholarship, full ride, all of that, to UCLA. I do believe, I want to say she's from California, not sure what part, but this guy, he's playing football, he gets recruited to UCLA, and she somehow knows this guy. Well, obviously she knows because she's dating him. So you see, she's starting off up top. She is starting off dating top tier guys. And when this guy doesn't make it, she deuces out.
However, one man who was watching her from afar was none other than the game. Beginning their relationship when she was just 18.
Okay, so now she's linked to the game at just 18. Now keep in mind, if you're remembering the timeline, this girl goes from high school dating a top tier athlete. He goes to school, or he goes to college. Maybe he's a little bit older than her. Who knows? There's no way that this guy is so old that he wraps up his college career before she turns 18. He would have to be like 5-6 years older. So at the same time this guy is playing, she's looking at him saying, okay, you're not going to be anything. You're not getting no playing time. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get on this other guy. This other guy happens to be the rapper, The Game. Now, this is occurring when she's 18. Now, keep in mind, one of the key talking points of the Manosphere is how young women can jump right out there at 18 and get a millionaire. And she's proving this in real time. So when I tell you why this documentary is a waste of time, when I tell you it doesn't matter how much you make Myron Gaines look like a fool, he's already said this very thing 40 different ways, and men already know. So no man is going to give women sympathy points when you can jump out there at 18, get a relationship, get drugged through the mud, have your opportunities with a millionaire at 18. No, like, nobody's going to feel sorry for you. So you can make Myron look as dumb as you want, but we already know what the game is. You're a day late and a dollar short. No one's ever going to feel sorry for these women because the kids are seeing it in real time, right?
And the documentary rapper was 35. That's obviously a pretty hefty age gap to navigate. Having said that, the way Game has conducted himself in the industry hasn't exactly suggested that he's the most mature man in the world. So it might have been less apparent than you think. Either way, their relationship was kept pretty low-key, with one notable exception. Way back.
Now, it does have to be noted that if this guy is talking to her when she's 18, 19, he had to know who she was before that. How did he know? She has a Tumblr account that's booming, and she's on a reality TV show. And she's going to say, and women are going to say, well, men are the creeps for pursuing women that young. Meanwhile, where were your parents? Where were your older siblings when you were posting yourself online? Where were your parents? Where were your older siblings when you were, and keep in mind, her older siblings are women, so girls club, right? Where were your older siblings when you were on this reality TV show and you were dating this guy in between? Like, why didn't any of the women around you protect you from this creepy guy? Is it because he's a millionaire that they let this happen? Of course it is. Of course it is. And this is also one of the talking points. It's always men's fault when women's lives fall apart, right? And so men aren't falling for this anymore. Like I said, if you watch people like Coach Greg Adams, you watch people like Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, they'll tell you, by the time a woman is 25, she's met every man that's going to be a good match for her. Every man that's like husband material, she's already met it and blown it with that guy. So this is one of the reasons why you can't do hit pieces on the Manosphere. Like, they already hit the target. Men see through the foolishness.
In 2015, the two were caught doing some very heavy petting in a public park, with Game and India really sharing that intimate moment together in every way they could. Because it was captured by the paparazzi, it was hardly surprising that this became one of the early scandals that would cast a large shadow over her entire public image. For someone who was only 18 at the time, this was obviously a fairly excruciating thing to endure. And while everyone makes mistakes, time and clarity has led India to believe this was no accident. And in one instance, she revealed that he orchestrated this embarrassing moment for publicity.
I was sitting there with him, and I look, and there's a van with a big camera. Then he goes, well, guess you're gonna see us on the vlogs tomorrow. I personally think that he knows that my name's this, so he wanted to keep his name tied to mine.
Meanwhile, Game has openly discussed the viral moment during a recent 20 vs 1, perhaps supporting the argument that he had no reason to feel shame about it because he knew what was to come.
So I have a question.
Sure.
I'm a really big fan of India Love.
Of who? So these 20v1s are relatively new. Not really sure when they started, like maybe 2019-ish. But these things are relatively new, and this girl's going to ask a pretty wild question. And the context for this question is what Luesta was saying. They were doing some pretty heavy petting. He was basically giving this girl a pelvic exam in the park, if you know what I mean.
India Love.
Oh, right.
And I was just wondering, what did her smell like in this picture?
Shit, that's, yeah. So, for me, what I would say is that India had a pretty floral smelling vagina.
That's what I imagined too.
After around 3 years of
So you see what kind of guy he is. He's 36, he's 35, 36. He's dating an 18-year-old who has more clout than him. This is 2015, 16 or so. Game is not necessarily all that relevant. Like, all of his years of relevance are pretty much over at this point. And like the girl said, he was staying next to me to try to, keep his clout up and everything like that. It is what it is. I mean, this is social media. But he's doing this in a park, and he's doing it in public, and he says to her, I guess we're going to be on the blogs. Do we think that this man was just taking advantage of her? Like, you chose this man for this reason. You knew what kind of person he was. He does this, and you allow him to do it. And at some point in time, if this is any other woman, she gets to cry that she was a victim of all of this. Keep in mind, this whole sequence of events, this is stuff that the Red Pill has already talked about. So when we see these kinds of hit pieces 2 or 3 years after the Red Pill has, pretty much died, it's like, dude, the damage is done. You're not going to expose Red Pillars and be like, oh, see, look, this guy's actually a loser. It's like, yeah, that guy's a loser, but did he lie? There's no lies told.
seeing each other on and off, the relationship officially fell apart once and for all. But rather than trash her ex, India kept her cards far closer to her chest than he had.
All right, so I'm gonna name 3 people, and you can't think about it. You just have to tell me the first thing that comes to your mind when I name these people.
He said yes and no. They were both taking advantage of each other. Exactly. Exactly. Like nobody's falling for the woman mumbo jumbo. We know you women, we know these women are not just a babe in the woods and a doe in the headlights. Like, no. And that's kind of what these documentary hit pieces want you to believe. They want you to say, "Oh, don't listen to these men because they're weirdos and they're losers." And it's like, yeah, I got a degree in math. Most of my professors were weirdos and losers too, but that doesn't mean that they don't know what they're talking about, right? Right is right.
The game.
The game. That's what came to my mind. First thing that comes to my mind, I said, the game. A game.
A game.
A game.
And since then, this has generally been her approach when it comes to any man she's dealing with.
So in case you guys didn't hear that, she said, we're going to play some word association. And she said, tell me what comes to mind when I say this name or this word. And she says, the game. And then India doesn't say anything. And she says, when you say the game, I think nothing. The game was just a game. So she was just playing a game with this guy, which that's what women do, especially in the social media age. So we're not like, nobody feels sorry for this chick. It doesn't matter how much you expose red pillars. We know the games.
Preferring to move in silence as much as possible.
Your exes were being petty and you posted a scripture and you were like, let God handle it. Do you find though that you have to now just resort to like praying when it comes to that? Because now you're in the public eye and people try and come for you.
Yeah, everybody comes for me for whatever reason that I don't know, and I'm still trying to figure out. I was so upset because I'm like, why me? Why is this happening to me? I didn't do anything to anybody, and they all just like hate me or something.
Not the cap.
So it's everybody else, and it's not you. It's everybody else, and it's not you. This is what we talk about in the red pill. Women can't take a single ounce of accountability. So like, women can't take any accountability. And so there's so many men who see this in social media, pop culture, in their real life, that a documentary on Netflix is not gonna, that like, you're not stopping the bleeding. This is not a person who's been stabbed in the abdomen. This is, you stepped on a landmine. Your whole lower body is gone. The red pill did what it was supposed to do. Everybody is going to see this woman. They're going to hear what she says, and they're going to be like, oh, women can't take accountability. Like, the damage is done.
And I learned that, your silence is more golden in that situation than anything. And a prayer can only help them and, help the situation, if anything, so.
From there, things didn't always get much more age appropriate, with India dating a man 3 years older than the game when she linked up with Rick Ross. It all began when they started dancing with each other at a club in October 2016, looking very cozy to say the least.
Okay, so for those keeping score, what up, Dash? I intend to keep up the work. Thank you. Rick Ross. So she's dating Rick Ross in 2016. So if you guys are keeping score, 2015, 2016 is going to put her at 19 going on 20. Now keep in mind, it started immediately. She went from 18 years old dating a top tier football player, getting recruited to UCLA, to immediately dating a somewhat, a very much washed up rapper in the game. But she also had her reality TV show. And she has all of this because she's on Tumblr making a name for herself at 18. Then somehow, some way, she's dancing with Rick Ross at the age of 19, 20. So you see how fast this moves. And most men who are 18, 19, 20, like, you're not in rooms with millionaires. You're absolutely not in rooms with any millionaires. And this is one of the things that, Fresh and Fit talk about. This is one of the things that Andrew Tate talk about. It's one of the things that Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, talks about, right? Men do not have the ability to get into rooms with millionaires at 18, 19, 20, and then start benefiting from those millionaires. So the idea that we're going to feel sorry for you when you fumble all of this, or you end up 30, used up, you're for the streets, you got kids and stuff. No one's going to feel sorry for you because we heard about it from Myron and those guys, and then we watched you do it since 2018. We've been watching Myron and Fresh and Kevin Samuels and Coach Greg Adams. We've been watching you guys since 2018, 2019. It's 2026. That's 7-8 years. That's 7-8 years. So, right? So we know the game. There's no sympathy, no more tears.
But this time, the whole situation was much more short-lived, with India dating Rosé in the aftermath of breaking off his engagement. However, the Teflon Don wasn't even the only rapper she was linked to at this time, as if the rumors are true, then she was only hooking up with a friend turned rival of his, sparking a situation that drove a wedge between India and a family member. This time, the man in question was Drake, with India once again apparently helping to ease the pain after a major split. At the time,
okay, so now now we know how Drake gets down. We know how Drake gets down. And Drake has this weird thing where he likes to smash other rappers' girls. I don't know what that's all about. Seems kind of homoerotic because he does it like religiously, but okay, whatever. So like Pyro said, she's an industry pass around. She's getting passed around, and she's in this cycle where she doesn't know how to cash out. Right? I've always said the name of the game for women is cash out before you crash out. She can't cash out. But once again, I don't feel sorry because I can't get in. I'm 40. I can't get in those rooms with millionaires. So when you see these documentaries, you understand why we just laugh at them. Like, oh, Myron's a loser. Okay, but is he a liar? I don't care how much you expose him. He's not a liar.
An insider told E! News that Rihanna and Drake are seeing other people at the moment. They are not exclusive anymore. They still love each other, but their schedules have gotten in the way. Before a second source then revealed that Drake and India Love have been hooking up for at least a few weeks. Drake could just be hooking up with India Love now to piss off Rihanna, which has clearly worked. For India, taking over from Rihanna would have been extra sweet, as one of her exes, former basketball player Cliff Dixon, had cheated on her with the Barbados-born pop star. However,
like, where did this guy come from? Like, if we're keeping score, this chick is still like 20. Like, where did he come from? Where did you meet Cliff Dixon? Like, none of this stuff makes any sense. It doesn't make any sense that this chick is getting passed around like this. Like, how are you meeting? Like, you get what I'm saying. So you see this chick is busy. You're supposed to be with Rick Ross. You somehow find time to go link up with Drake and get knocked down by Drake for weeks at a time. But then at the same time you were dating this basketball player, it's like, come on, man. It's like, look, bro, come on. I never understood why people like DDG came up with this slang, my ball. Like, when I heard that, I was like, you kids are retarded. But now I get it. Now I get it because you're literally getting passed around. Like, I got it then. It sounded stupid, but now it makes perfect sense. You're getting bounced from guy to guy, getting dunked from guy to guy, getting knocked down like Steph Curry 3-pointers. It's insane. The mileage on this chick it's got to be astronomical.
However, it turns out it wasn't as simple as that. With her time alongside Champagne Poppy apparently sparking a rift between India and her sister Crystal. Shortly after the news of India and Drake's situationship hit the web, Crystal let it be known that she'd hit it first, and seemed to be less than pleased by what had gone down. Well, this is getting really awkward. That awkward moment when she holds on your exes, hashtag I feel like Ray J, I need answer sway. While it never really morphed into a full-fledged relationship, Drizzy later showed love to India during his virtual guest appearance at Streamers University.
In India, after all these years, all the love that we shared, and, our friends and our families knowing each other, I just wanted to say, you'll always be my dog. You'll always be my dog. I got love for you. I'm proud of you.
India briefly spoke about the shout out afterwards, but was typically coy about it.
Okay, so if you see if you see what's going on here, like, this chick she's hoeing around so much that she like, it's affecting her family. So she's hoeing around to the point where it's affecting her family. And keep in mind, this whole thing went down in what, 2015, 2014, 15, 16. 10 years later, she's doing Streamer University and Drake is giving her a shout out. So it didn't end there. He's not talking about, oh, you're my dog to some chick he was just messing with for a month or two. Like, no, you was a jump off. You was a side piece. You was one of his side tings for a while. You was a side ting for multiple seasons. There's like, he's not remembering just random shit. No. No. No.
At the end of Streamer University, Drake got on there and said like congratulations to everybody, but he singled you out in a way and just said, you know, you'll always be his dog. Were you surprised to hear that? Did you expect to hear it?
No, it definitely shocked me. I was over there like, wait, what? I was in the crowd like, everybody's looking at me. I'm like, wait, I didn't really hear it because I was still stuck on the last thing that he said. But I was definitely surprised, and it was good to see and hear from him and make sure, you know, he's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it cool to like hear that shout out? Or
Hell yeah. I mean, it's Drake, what the fuck? Of course. But yeah, he's a legend. I appreciated it.
Well, she likes to shout out now because she's looking to cash out. She's trying to cash out. Cause this interview is relatively recent. It's either last year or this year. So yeah, she's trying. Of course, she likes it.
It was cute. It was cool.
As for her and Crystal, the siblings have patched things up. But there are still moments where things get a little tense, such as when Crystal objected to India making a joke about her being pregnant.
You guys, she's fishing for this. You guys are giving her exactly what she's fishing for.
What am I fishing for? I'm eating lunch with you.
You're eating for two, remember? I keep a couple on my roster, niggas. I want to apologize not only to my sister Crystal, but to.
All right, this is a nothing burger. They're just trying to insinuate that she's a drama queen, which yeah, okay, I get it. In case you guys don't know, whenever you hear these people talk about there's a baby or somebody's pregnant, it's always fake. Until that baby pops out, it's fake. Until you see them walking around with ultrasound scans and big old pregnant belly, it's always fake. You can get pregnancy tests like on Amazon. So you like the ones that always you dip it in apple juice and it says, "Oh, you're pregnant. Get out of here." So
everyone who believed me when I was trolling and saying that she was pregnant, my sister Crystal is not pregnant. I joke around a lot on and off camera. And I didn't think that it was going to be taken to the context of where my sister is now upset at me and not talking to me.
In the case of Drake and Rose, it seems like India basically functioned as a rebound after some of their biggest relationships fell apart. But in some cases, rappers didn't even wait for that to happen before making their move. Now, before we get into the more personal side of this comeback, quick word from today's sponsor, Zoc. If you're anything like me,
all right, so I have to actually let this play because I downloaded this video off the web. That way I didn't have to do all the skipping of the commercials and stuff like that. Like he baked this into the video, so it is what it is. I get it. He got to do his plug, but I don't want to get a copyright strike. So, but you guys are seeing what's going on here, and I'm not mad at what the chick is doing. My whole point about all of this is that I'm not going to waste time caring what a documentary has to say when it's talking negative about the Manosphere. I gotta wait for this to.
And this is what went down with Rich the Kid, as the plug walk artist got caught in 4K trying to.
Okay, so now we're back. But like I said, I'm not gonna waste my time getting mad at the whole, documentary, because you guys have we've been watching this stuff play out, right? We've been watching the fake news. We've been watching the foolishness. You say, welcome to the ads, man. I'm gonna have to get the. I want to get like that ad blocker, or I want to get a like I was thinking about getting like YouTube Premium, but it's like they do the ads right there in the thing. I mean, he got to make his money, so I ain't mad.
Rendezvous with her when he was anything but single. Taken to his IG in order to expose the rapper, his wife shared messages between them.
I hope that's me at the end of the year doing sponsored ads.
As well as a whole assortment of other girls that he was communicating with, and possibly a whole lot more. To India's credit, she seemed to repeatedly inquire about his martial status, with Rich repeatedly deceiving her and saying that he wasn't, while claiming that he wanted to get to know her more. By the looks of it, this deception didn't fly with India, because while he remained thirsty even after this encounter, she refused to entertain him. In a series of posts from a friend of hers, she leaked messages where Rich pleaded, "Bro, tell India unblock me." In response, she said, "Not going to happen. You got us f***ed up." To which he simply asked, "How?" To really complete his humiliation, India's friend then posted the screenshot with the caption, "Lady Luscious, please come get your husband out of my DMs. Thank you."
Okay, so she's talking to this guy. She's obviously sleeping with, I don't know if she's sleeping with him, but she's messing around. Yet another rapper getting passed around more and more. And I mean, it is what it is. To her credit, she doesn't seem like she wants to be a complete and total home wrecker. So I'll give her points there, because for the most part in the Manosphere, we will tell you, these women don't care. They'll destroy another person's home. They absolutely don't care. So she's a pass around. She's certainly the industry ball, but apparently she has some level of discretion or some level of, humility. I guess she's not a totally horrible person.
Clearly, India has lines that she won't cross. But being such a visible personality means that anytime she is around a man, the rumor mill starts up. This happened between her and Roddy Ricch, with the fact that she posted an IG video where he could be seen in the background, sending the gossip pages into overdrive. This meant that India had to go on record and attempt to clarify what the whole situation really was. Roddy and I aren't together, and I apologize for the accidental video post that led to the assumption. Two friends who enjoy each other's time. That's literally life. Despite her protests, it appears not everyone...
Okay, now we already know how that works. Just because you're not together doesn't mean that y'all not sleeping together. No one's falling for that. No one's stupid, right? Y'all aren't dating, but he's not hanging out with you. He's not hanging out with you for no reason. Not when he was a big star. Like, no, he's not hanging out with you for no reason. You out there in bikinis and stuff like that. Nobody's dumb.
believed her. Most notably, another girl who had ties to the Compton rapper. At one stage, India almost wound up in a brawl with his baby mama, Ali K, after they encountered each other in public.
Where's that picture? What do you need? Are you okay? You don't need nothing. I'm perfect. You came up to me with energy. You want to talk? I don't. I haven't talked to you. No, you came to me. You're not doing nothing but talking. What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
Amid the public...
Now, if you guys remember, a while back in this whole documentary thing, she said people always come at her with bad energy and they blame her for stuff. And, I'd be thinking, why me? And I didn't do anything. Meanwhile, she's sleeping with everybody's man. Meanwhile, she is in everybody's man's face. If there's a woman out there who has a man, she is sleeping with that woman's man. So much so that I guess her sister was getting knocked down by Drake, and she decided, I need me some of that too. So it's like, do we really believe any of this? No. Do we really care? No. But once again, when we start sending shots at Manosphere people because the Manosphere has burned down, it doesn't do anything, because we know all these women are 304s. We see this stuff play out. They're doing it in 4K. So we can't, it's like, yeah, sure, Myron might be this, and Clavicular might be that, and Sneeko might be a weirdo. But does that mean that these women aren't what we said they were? Right? I didn't do nothing. That's a red pill talking point. Women are never going to say they did nothing. They're never going to say, yeah, I messed that one up. it's like, yeah, kudos for you not cheating on the other guy, G Herbo or whatever. Kudos for not, sleeping with him when he's married, Rich the Kid or whoever. But you're always in some man's face. And then there's a woman attached to that who wants to beat you down, even your own sister. So we know you're full of crap.
Intrigue over what went down, Allie K took to IG to claim it wasn't actually about Roddy specifically, but things that had been said about she and the MC's child. I let you slide for 5, cause nobody was tripping off a goer. I respect the hustle, Allie K wrote, adding, over a boy? If he not mine, he ain't my problem. Y'all only know one piece of the story, and trust me, I hear y'all, but I don't, LOL. This ain't that. If you think I'm tripping, I am. Y'all let people disrespect you and your kid if y'all want to. Her homeboy shouldn't have to put his hands on me. Stop letting people lie to y'all so easily, she added. Stop playing when you know what the truth is. Ultimately, everyone has moved on since then, and things didn't go any further.
Now, it should be noted. It should be noted that when you see women like this, and it's a red pill talking point, but it's kind of a talking point that I'd say more than I hear other people talk about. When you deal with these kinds of women, you see these kinds of women, they always say, I didn't do anything. You see this woman, she keeps getting caught in these weird situations where there's some guy, some rapper, she's getting passed around, and then he has a girlfriend or a wife or whatever. When you see this kind of stuff, if you are anywhere in her rotation, I swear to God, she's going to try to use you as a human shield. If she was with somebody at that point in time, that person would have got killed. This is another thing that we talk about in the Manosphere, how women will get you killed. They'll go out there, they'll be sleeping around, they'll catch some beef with some woman. I'm going to sleep with her husband. They sleep with her husband. They sleep with her boyfriend. They're rubbing it in her face in little subtle ways. Then all of a sudden, something goes down when y'all are at Fat Burger or whatever. Y'all are at the Nipsey Hussle burger spot. And now all of a sudden you getting Timberland boots across your face and you don't even know why. This is another one of those reasons you don't date the 304, because she'll walk you right into an early grave and won't even tell you what's going on. Right? But when we say this kind of stuff, they say we're misogynists and then they want to do documentaries. Nah, I'm not dying for that.
But if you thought that was dramatic, it was nothing compared to what happened during her time with Lil Yachty. Although it's unclear how much time the two spent together, what we do know is that they wound up creating a beef. Because while he was trying to wife up India, Lil Boat was thrown into conflict with Soulja Boy after he uploaded a throwback of the two into Instagram. Their ties actually go back to the extent that he even guested on BET reality TV show The Westbrooks.
Soulja Boy is a great friend.
Soulja Boy. Now, I understand that a lot of this is fake. Like, a lot of this is fake. When you see stuff happening online, a lot of it's fake. When you see stuff happening on BET and reality shows, a lot of it's fake. Like, reality shows, the whole thing is fake, right? But the reason that we're actually talking about this and giving it even the smallest piece of credibility is because this stuff does happen in real life. There are reckless women like this in real life, right? I'm telling you, man, you're going to get a Spartan kick from hell all up in your face at Nipsey's Fat Burger or whatever. I swear to God, I've seen this kind of stuff happen. I have seen this kind of, I've seen it do. In case you guys didn't know, I used to be a photographer. And I have a picture of just that. I have a whole set of pictures. We're going to talk about that probably tomorrow or some other time. Women will get you killed and they won't even tell you what's going on. They got beef with vampires and werewolves and Frankenstein, and they just walking around with you like it's all sweet. Like, hey, I'm not the Navy SEALs. I'm telling you, women like this are dangerous.
And I love hanging out with him. And so when he asked me to go out for ice cream, of course I said yes. And I have an ulterior motive.
So what's poppin'?
I feel like I haven't seen you in a long time.
It's all
I've been
good.
working. You've been working.
We both been working. Make some time, you know what I'm saying? Even though with the crazy schedules, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Come to the studio, you know what I'm saying?
Always.
So maybe dating India Love is another thing that Soulja Boy can claim to have done first. Whatever's the case, they were definitely apart by the time that Bo tried to check him for uploading a picture of the two together, with Yachty sliding into the OG's DMs to reprimand him over the image. Yo G, you wildin' on the gram. India my shorty. I fuck with you bro. You know that, but you gotta take it down. And in typically combative fashion,
this is another one of those things. And this is one of those things that the naysayers, the detractors of the space don't like. One thing we always tell people in the Manosphere, do not check the guy that's stepping across the line. Check your girl for allowing that to happen. Lil Yachty, if this was like the money, muscle, game, and frame kind of thing, like if one of the money, muscle, game, frame guys was talking to Lil Yachty, he would tell Lil Yachty, you don't check Soulja Boy for multiple reasons. Soulja Boy's uncheckable. It's Soulja Boy. Like, it's Soulja Boy. Like, come on. Like, we know what Big Soulja's up to. Like, he's unreasonable. Imagine trying to check Soulja Boy. Like, man, come on. The man's mind is a bag of cats. So you don't check that guy. You check India Love. Like, hey, you need to tell him to take that picture down because me and you are together. Right? So these are the kinds of things that these hit pieces are going to say are misogynistic. And they're going to say, oh, you guys are terrible for saying this kind of stuff. But this is what's going to get you killed. This is what's going to get you into a beef. You're with this girl. There's this other guy. Maybe he's not in the picture, but he posts some disrespectful stuff like that. The way you assert dominance is you tell your girl, hey, tell that person to take that down, or me and you are done. And if she's really rocking with you, she's going to take it down. Right? But what the detractors want to say is, oh, that's toxic. Everything is toxic. But we know that this is true. We've all seen it. By the age of 25, you've probably seen one of your friends, if not yourself, get into a fight in a situation like this. Right? This is why these hit pieces, it's too late. Like, we have the knowledge. You're too late.
Draco let it be known that this wouldn't fly. You want beef?
Hey, everybody that keep on writing me talking about, man, Lil Yachty, he a fan of you, he look up to you. Man, I don't give a fuck, nigga. You shouldn't text me asking about no you talking about, nigga. You ain't never even met this in your life, nigga. I've been rocking with this girl for years, man. Don't never in your life, write me and tell me to take a picture down of me and my girl. I'll slap the shit out you. Fuck Lil Bo. Alright, this is my last video for that ass, ugly ass Lil Bo. Boy, you black as hell, boy. You ugly as your hair look like Twizzlers, boy. I snatch them bees out your motherfucking head, you little ass nigga. Nigga, I don't even with you. Your music whack as You called my management telling me I need to meet Soulja. I met your ass at my house. You was whack. I heard your song one night on, bro. That shit was lame as You was a groupie. You talking about Soulja, I look up to you. I'm your biggest fan. But look, bro, when I see you, I'ma beat you, bro. On my mama. I'ma beat your motherfucking ass, bro. You shouldn't have texted my phone. You know you up, nigga. Stop playing with me, nigga. Big Soulja, nigga.
In a further...
Now, just imagine you get with a girl who has a guy like this, like in the background, some way, somehow, and he's not like a goofball, and the guy's like seriously a dangerous person. Now I gotta die because you didn't tell me you are such a pass around that you got psychos in the closet just waiting to do stuff like this. And she's doing this on purpose. I promise you. Keep in mind, this is like what she's doing as she's doing it. It's all for clicks. It's all to go viral. Soulja Boy's on the internet now. It's all to go viral. But for us normal people, we don't date the 304 because when you date an India Love in real life, she's going to have a Soulja Boy. She's going to have some little crash out waiting to prove how tough he is. She's going to have some crash out dude who don't have nothing to lose. And then you have to deal with this. And what she'll do is she'll concoct this situation. He'll post that picture. She'll like it from one of her secret accounts. He knows about that secret account. So they're both keying in the background. You crash out on the boyfriend. And now she gets her fill of excitement because y'all got to go fight. But this dude is a killer. No. Absolutely not. So this is why I say the Manosphere has taught us all of this. We have this knowledge because of the Manosphere. It's too late. Your hit piece is a day late and a dollar short. He said he's rapping with the roast. Man, Soulja Boy stays ready for stupidity. He is always ready to get stupid.
Their post, Soulja Boy looked to twist the knife, even posting more throwbacks as well as recent chat logs proving they still communicated. How is this your girl when I've been rocking with her before you? How's she your girl and we've been rocking for years? Meanwhile, Lil Yachty responded on his own terms with a live freestyle dedicated purely to dissing a rapper that he'd previously said was an influence.
Soulja Boy, I said, Soulja Boy, you're being sad. Lil Bo came in with a white ticket, busting on your. I know that you mad. It's Lil Bo, bitch. I'm so glad. I'm so rich, living like a rich. Goddamn man, got a on his bitch. Soulja Boy in the.
If I die without ever hearing another Lil Yachty song, I can consider my life a success.
It's a boat, though. It's a boat, though. So many diamonds, if I drown, I'm a float. Whoa.
Naturally, Lil Bo in India didn't last long after a situation like this, but she did wind up playing his love interest in the video for Forever Young in 2017. Since then, encounters between them in public have been very amicable and suggested that they're still on good terms.
What?
Keep saying your name.
I didn't hear you say my name. How are you? Say hi to my chat. W, Miles in the chat. I'm blessed. I love your outfit. Wow. Okay, cool. I expected to sell out. Don't worry.
Sorry, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too, always.
But it's safe to say that this is not always the case when she's had flings with rappers, where she might wish her former longtime boyfriend and pro boxer Devin Haney well.
Jesus. Devin Haney? Like, golly. How do you have this much time?
Even after they broke up, there are some men that she appears to have real smoke for. This appears to be the case with Sheck Wes, a man who she briefly dated after being met with criticism due to his dubious past. I lost all.
If you guys don't know who Sheck Wes is, he has this really infectious song. I want to say it's called Mo Bamba or something like that. Something like that. I think the album was called Mud Boy, and the song is called Mo Bamba. And it came out in like 2017. So I don't know when they're dating, but that's who he is. I have not heard anything else from him since that.
All respect for you a long time ago when I realized you were an attention whore, getting fingered by the game. India Love got with Sheck Wes, like, girl, you really want to be with a dude that beats women up? A mess. For a short spell, the two were frequently seen together and seemed like the picture of happiness. But not only would this not last, but the thing said,
is that an iPhone 8? iPhone 11? Good grief.
By the pair shortly after they broke up suggested that it got pretty nasty. India was first to break the news of the split, scathingly writing on her IG story that it's tough being a guy's first bad bitch. And in a since deleted post, Sheck clapped back with plenty of shade on his own. Big difference between a bad bitch and a burger. All I'm saying is your behavior can take you from a bad bitch to slide of the century. So be careful, ladies and gents. Trust me, your reputation is everything. And remember, and accept your behavior. It's hard to say who came out the worst from that end.
I mean, he's not lying. And see, this is one of the things that red pill detractors want to avoid. They don't want red pill ideology to get out there to where men start acting responsible, because your personality will definitely get you knocked off. Like you went from here, You went from sugar to crap real quick. And this is what you're seeing with this chick.
Incredibly harsh exchange, but it nonetheless would have been another psychological scar for India to deal with. While most people's love life plays out privately, her fondness for artists and ballers has meant that she is constantly stuck with her dirty laundry being aired in public. And in recent years, it seems like she's getting pretty sick of it. During her career as a streamer, India has regularly told her audience that she wanted to find real, long-lasting love.
I need that. Who y'all think about that's right there for you? I got somebody in mind. Who y'all got in mind?
Along the way, she knew that there'd be some errors in her life that had brought her to this point, but still, she hoped for a happy ending.
Favorite, I'm not to say that to brag, but
now just to kind of interrupt this. If you guys are not, once again, keeping score, this chick jumped out the gate at 18 with a washed-up rapper, The Game. Then at 19, 20, she immediately gets to Rick Ross. And then by 19, 20, maybe 21, she's with Drake. So you see how, like this chick went Super Saiyan immediately. And then just immediately fell off. Everything after that is like she's going further and further down. You went from Drake to Soulja Boy and all these nondescript rappers, Ace Hood or this guy, Sheck West, Little Yachty. Now you're a streamer and you're dealing with streamers. Now keep in mind, in terms of clout, rappers have more clout. In terms of money, rappers do have more money. But it doesn't seem like she's able to really get the ball rolling. But you guys are seeing what's happening with this chick. And this is a red pill talking point. By the time, if you are a normal guy, by the time you get a girl like India Love, she's been with Drake. She's been with Rick Ross. She's been tossed around by all the top talent. You are a rebound and she's going to make your life hell.
we have our own special relationship, and I'm not perfect. And I know that, and I take full accountability for all of the things that happened in my past. I'm super not proud of a lot of shit that happened to me or that I chose to do in my life. But that's life.
For a while, it looked like her most recent attempt to find it was with rapper and streamer DDG. Their chemistry became apparent during Kai Cenat's Streamer University.
Okay, now this is what I'm talking about. Streamer University is kind of a big deal. I'm not gonna lie, like Streamer University was kind of a big deal. I have my own thoughts on what Streamer University was. I think Kai Cenat wanted out of streaming for whatever reason, and Streamer University was what he did. Like these streamers signed deals with the talent agency. I think he's with like CTA or something like that. I don't know, or UTA, the Universal Talent Agency or something like that. They sign these deals, and this is how they, like, when you see Kai Cenat do like he does like a mafia-thon or a stream of the subathon thing. What happens is the talent agency and the management, they're putting up all the money. When they destroy their setup and they blow up their house and they do all this crazy stuff, they're not like going to the bank and saying, okay, let me pull out $5 million and let me hire an interior designer. They're under contract. Just like a TV show. They're under contract. There's somebody putting the money up. Kai has to put up so much stream, right? People like Duke Dennis. I never see Duke Dennis stream, so I don't know what his revenue split is. I don't know what his share is. I don't know, right? So, but people like Kai Cenat, for them, and this is why people like Duke Dennis don't do that big stuff. This is why people like, Phantom, he doesn't do really big stuff. I think Agent might be the most active, the second most active. So he doesn't do that really, really big stuff. So Kai has probably this giant budget for streaming. And in order to get that budget, he has to sign on to his talent agency for a set amount of years, just like acting, just like sports. Well, maybe he wanted out. He wanted to go do something different. Well, he has to fulfill his contract. How does he do that? He says, I'm going to do this Streamer University. I'm going to bring in all of this talent. If you guys see anything you like, sign them. Like we can sign them and we can make a deal and maybe it happens that way. I don't know. I'm still working out I got my tinfoil hat on. I think I think Streamer University was a bit of a sham. I mean, we got Rakai out of that. I don't know who watches Rakai. You know, we got Snow Cone. I don't know who watches Snow Cone. But Streamer University was a big deal. And DDG was probably like the second biggest deal. DDG makes real money, in case you guys didn't know. As a rapper, DDG does make real money. He makes more money than 95% of rappers. And that's mostly because he streams. Right? Streamers have all the money. So when I talk about her arc, starting off with a game, going to Rick Ross, topping out at Drake, and then everything else being kind of, you know, down. Now she's a streamer and she's with DDG. Now she's back up. Now DDG doesn't have the same clout as a Drake. He doesn't even have the same money, but he is a top tier streamer. So I say all that to just, you know, lay out the fact that in the Manosphere, we talk about women's life cycle, how they, you know, they peak and then they come down and they're always trying to get back up. So they have to do a rebrand. Well, she was the Instagram baddie. She was the Tumblr chick. She was, you know, she wanted to be the next Kim Kardashian until, you know, reality TV kind of died. And now she's going into streaming. So she's trying, and she don't want to stream. Streaming is hard work. In case you guys don't know, streaming is actually pretty hard work. So she wants to be a streamer, but she don't really want to be a streamer. She wants to cash out. So she's trying to cash out with the biggest thing in town outside of Kai Cenat, which is, in this case, DDG. So you see, she's still doing what she's always done.
Where the Detroit native Duke Dennis and Deshae Frost were all apparently vying for her attention.
Hey, babe, ain't you my boss?
Huh?
You know, I'm going to my room. Hey, babe, ain't that our boss?
Hey, yo, who the f*** you
babe,
talking
babe,
to?
babe.
This nigga's a student. Go to the 7th floor and below. This is for professors at the 10th floor. I don't even know how you got access up here. Deshae. You f***ing wish.
Keep that same energy.
Hey, yo, why are you still here?
And from there, a connection was fostered.
Well, see, here's the thing. She's not going to be able to find that guy. See, I get what you're saying. Like, hey, if you date these kinds of guys, you better get you a simp. Well, see, the problem is she can't go back down. Like, that. This is why she has to rebrand so aggressively. It's actually very, very rare that you see a woman start here. Like, she starts over here or wherever, and then she maxes out what she's doing on this side. Goes all the way down. Because if you're dating Little Yachty, you're scraping the bottom of the barrel. She goes all the way down, and then she does a complete rebrand to this other thing. She starts this other thing, and then she's riding high up here. That would literally be like Kim Kardashian crashing out and becoming a streamer, right? So it's difficult for her to get a simp. Women like this can't get simps. This is another red pill talking point. This is one of the reasons why you can't save these women. You can't turn the hoe into a housewife because she can't be tamed. She's had so much better. She's had guys that are so much better. And I'm not saying like sexually better. I'm saying like clout-wise, like Drake. How do you get a guy with more clout than Drake? I'm not saying Drake is the coolest guy. She's probably dated guys who are way cooler. But in terms of clout, Drake got all the clout. Drake and Rick Ross? She was dating Rick Ross when Rick Ross was rapping, like, I don't know if you guys know, back in like 2012 to like 2015, Rick Ross was in a rap beef with 50 Cent, washed him. Rick Ross was washing 50 Cent in this rap beef, so much so that 50 Cent had to resort to putting out a sex tape of Rick Ross's baby mom. And that's what got him sued for like $8 million. So Rick Ross was rapping his lights out. So if you guys don't remember Rick Ross from like 2012 to like 2015, that's like prime Rick Ross where he was just killing it. So she was with Rick Ross at his height. She was with Drake when Drake was dropping, like she was with Drake at Drake's height. Like 2012 to 2015, that's like prime Drake. So that's prime Drake, prime Rick Ross. So when you get a girl who lives that life, it's so difficult to get her to settle down. And this is one of the Manosphere talking points. They can't. They can't go back to normal. Once they have a guy who can fly them out private, once they have a guy that can buy them $50,000 bags and it's nothing, once they have a guy that has them in VIP all day, every day, bro, you absolutely can't do it. You forgot to mention the simp economy is dry. The simp economy is drying up. That's the other thing. See, these these documentaries and these hit pieces are going to tell you, oh man, Myron, Fresh and Fit, Justin Waller, all of these guys, they're losers. And it's like, yeah, they might be, but they introduced us to stuff like the simp economy. You would have never known there was a simp economy until you watched Red Pill. And now we all know. So now we all know. These women have to keep playing the game because they can't cash out. The simp economy done dried up. And for these kinds of women in particular, a woman like India Love can never go back. Like if you make 120,000, she can't have that. Like that's not good enough. She's used to guys who make that like every month. She's used to guys who make hundreds of thousands of dollars a week. So she can't go back.
Alright. Okay. Like.
But it wasn't all plain sailing. After she was seen dancing on him in the wake of his split from Holly Bailey, it landed them both in hot water, with India going a little too far when describing the persecution that she believed she felt.
Like, I'm all over the internet getting bashed every day. I just don't look. Like, if I see negative comments, I just literally, like, go to the next thing. Like, I don't let it shake me up, none, because they hated Jesus, for one. For two, they gonna hate whether I do great. If I did all the best shit in the world, y'all would still find something to say. Yeah.
So, you guys see, she keeps doing this thing where she doesn't understand why people hate her. Now, she was dancing on DDG shortly after DDG broke up with Haley Bailey. I don't know if you guys remember the whole Haley Bailey situation. I can't really name you anything that Haley Bailey has been in. I know she's an actress. Maybe she does some singing. She was in like the Little Mermaid live action. She's the girl with the eyes kind of far apart. I don't want to hate on her, but that's her key feature. She's very pretty, but her eyes are like oddly far apart. And they had a really nasty split. It was real ugly. DDG was taking loss after loss, and then this chick is dancing on him, really suggestive, just going crazy, and the girls came after her. So it wasn't the guys, because the guys was like, "Yeah, DDG, get back out there with India Love and woo woo woo." It was the women. So she's like, "I don't understand why the women are upset." So you see how she's always a victim, just always a victim, no matter what. And I'm not saying that she did anything wrong. I'm just simply saying she likes to pretend like she doesn't understand where the persecution comes from, and she knows full well where it's coming from.
The internet hate is fake.
But they ultimately tried to reroute the publicity into something more positive, and soon the two were taking vacations across the world together.
Hey, I'm on live and shit. I was gonna see if you still wanted to go to Ibiza. Well, I'm gonna call you when I get off stream, and then we gonna plan it.
Okay.
All right, bye.
For India's part, she seemed truly infatuated with DDG, or she was playing her role to perfection.
I think I'm kind of obsessed with him. I'm obsessed with him. I don't care. You can call it glazing. You could call it this, that, and the third. I myself have not experienced a lot of men like him.
Okay, so now she's going on and on about how he's such a nice guy and everything like this. And if you guys, I'm not a geographer. I don't know where Ibiza is. I want to say it's like Mexico. I'm not 100% sure, but I know it's like the new like rapper streamer destination, Ibiza. I guess it's in the Mediterranean. I don't know. I am not a geographer. I heard the line, I think in like a Jay-Z song, maybe something like that. I don't know, but I know a lot of people go to this place. There's all these places, Turks and Caicos. Nobody was talking about Turks and Caicos until like mid 2010s. So like this is like the new Turks, I guess. People go there. And because DDG's a streamer, like I said, these streamers, they have these deals. So it's not like DDG is just swiping his card and just paying out of his pocket. He gets paid to make this kind of content. Once you get to a certain level of content creation, you sign a deal, and if you're lit enough, they're going to throw a whole bunch of money behind you, and they're going to say, okay, do this, do that. And you can come up with your own antics. Well, if you're DDG and you're a part-time rapper, you're getting booked at Rolling Loud, you're getting booked at South by Southwest. This is stuff that you can stream. It gives you more clout. Enter the clout chasing queen herself, right? So this chick, she lives for clout. Well, she wants clout. You want clout. We are in the clout economy. This is a match made in heaven. So he's buying her jewelry. He's on stream. Hey, I was just on stream, and I just wondered, do you want to go private flight to Ibiza and all of that, and I'll buy you a Maybach, like that whole deal. So he's doing some subtle flexing for the camera. So you kind of see what's going on here. All of this stuff is manufactured, but this kind of stuff is what women live for. So in the Manosphere, the Manosphere is going to tell you, when women see stuff like this, keep in mind, from her perspective, from our perspective, what she does is probably fake, but we treat it like it's real because it's entertainment. We know this is not real. The average man, the above average man, can't just up and go to Ibiza. But this is what women are seeing, and they think it's real. So this is another one of those talking points. So when you see these hit pieces on the Manosphere, this is why I say just laugh it off. The Manosphere, as far as I'm concerned, is dead. But we've heard about this. We've heard about women being delusional in all things. And then we see it, right? We see it in real time. So I just think it's funny that they're doing hit pieces 2 years after the Manosphere is dead, obviously trying to distract from what's going on in Iran and everything like that. It's like, look, dude, like the cat's out of the bag. This is fake for her, but women think it's real. And you can't tell women, you can't convince women that it's not real. And that's what they don't want people to hear.
Very much a rare breed. I even told his mama, I said, thank you for Moo. He's a rare breed. He does something to my spirit and my heart, and I just want to thank you for him.
At a certain stage, she was invested to the point that when he missed out on a prize at the Streamer Award, to face a dab, she pulled a Kanye and stormed the stage.
Real quick, y'all. I know Breakout Streamer of the Year went to Adapt, and congratulations, and we respect you for what you did. But Rakai should have won Breakout Streamer of the Year and DDG. I don't care what y'all say. Shout out Rakai, shout out. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, I just figured out my mic was muted. But no, I was just commenting on the whole Haley Bailey thing. Like Haley Bailey she was a terrible baby mom, and I don't necessarily need to go back to that for a whole stream, but we might rehash it on another stream. But yeah, DDG picks these overly dramatic women for the whole Haley Bailey thing. That was real. Haley Bailey was real. Like she was a real life demon, and they got kids, so he got to deal with that long term. Now, I think they have some sort of deal in place where she's going to shut up and not talk crazy about him, and he's going to just break her off. So I think they got that mostly figured out. So, congratulations on that. But this whole thing that he's doing with her is performative. But like I said, women don't know the difference. Women in the real world don't know that this is just bread and circus.
And much like Ye, she wound up apologizing for the outbursts afterwards.
I want to apologize to QT. There's no excuse for my behavior. It was very distasteful. It was very, like I keep saying, unnecessary. It was my initial emotion response, and that, again, I had no business being on that stage. Who I am as a person, and I have to stop
disappointing myself by repeating mistakes and keep repeating a cycle that's obviously not good for me. I watched something that said your mistakes could either be a coffin or a classroom.
Still, even as this new connection demanded headlines, India couldn't even
I mean, that is a bar, but like, man, shut up.
made her past completely. Once again, she was essentially used as a diss when DDG and Soulja Boy were briefly getting into it.
Whatever y'all could did, I been did it a long time ago. India love DDG, long time ago.
We want to know what Soulja did. Okay, he f***ed India Love. When the f*** was that? In 2005? God damn.
Meanwhile, the lack of confirmation over what they truly were persisted to the point that India was dodging questions on it.
I see you do your thing with DDG, and I see your song too with Two-Face, no? The remix or
Okay, now, I will say this. From the standpoint of her being a woman and being a clout chaser, there's two things can be true at the same time. Thing number one, she does want to cash out. And DDG is like at the top of the food chain. Now, I don't know if she wants a baby, but she does want to cash out. So she does want to be taken serious. While at the same time, the whole ambiguity over the thing does get her the clicks and the likes and the subscribers and stuff like that. Like, she's blowing up as a streamer. So like, she's a legitimate streamer at this point in time. So two things are actually transpiring at the same time. Like, I know previously I said, well, women don't know the difference between, it's like, yeah, that's true, but that doesn't mean that she's not looking to cash out. Because like I said, streaming is hard work, and she don't want to be no streamer. She more than likely wants to get wifed up or get a baby out of somebody where she can get that check. So that's just food for thought.
As for DDG, he eventually insisted that they were just platonic.
Talking about your relationship with India Love. You got her a necklace, things maybe getting serious?
Nah, that's my friend.
Yeah, I never bought my friend a necklace in my life. Come on.
She do a lot of nice things for me too, so it's just me just returning the favor.
So any speculation is just that, speculation. That's just your friend. Yeah, you heard it here, locked in.
That's my friend.
But are you dating now like that?
I'm chilling.
You're chilling.
Yeah, I'm chilling. I'm vibing, man. I'm working. That's what I'm doing.
Whatever's the case, she clearly still values him as a person, even if it's purely as an ally.
I myself have not experienced a lot of men like him. He's very much a rare breed. I even told his mama, I said, thank you for Moo. He's a rare breed. He does something to my spirit and my heart, and I just want to thank you for him.
So this is her being appreciative of the good guy, the nice guy. And women always do this. They get drugged through the mud by the Rick Rosses, by the Soulja Boys, by all the crazy. And keep in mind, I'm not saying that DDG is necessarily a nice guy, but that's the role he has to play. You guys got to understand, her being on Twitch is a very blue-pilled place. The Twitch audience is very much blue pill. DDG's audience is very much blue pill. These are the kids who say everything is weird when you call it out. You know, if you bring up the fact that this chick was dating Game when he was 36, they'll say, "Oh, Game is weird," right? Everything is weird. Everything is PDF file and everything like that. These are the young Gen Zs, the young Gen Alphas that are coming up. So they have no red pill awareness. So when we talk about hit pieces on the red pill at this point in time, I do have to make it, very understandable. Yeah, I do want you to understand. Even though us older people, we know the message, they're not necessarily worried about us. They're worried about the younger generation. They don't want the younger generation to catch on to the message. They want the younger generation to laugh at the red pillars so that they don't pick up the message. So in today's day and age, I am 40 years old, and I'm going to tell you just like how it is. I know full well that R. Kelly is in jail, and I know what he's in jail for. I watched R. Kelly marry a 15-year-old girl. I watched him have a whole career after he did that. I watched him get caught up in an investigation, and they did a whole thing on it on the Boondocks. And he had a whole second half of his career after that. For whatever reason, people didn't want him in jail. Well, okay, whatever. I'm not the judge. I think R. Kelly's a terrible person, but I think he makes amazing music. I'm not taking R. Kelly out of my rotation. Sorry, right? But that's the generation I'm from. Generation now, Gen Alpha, when you tell them R. Kelly did X, Y, and Z, they're like, "Oh, he's weird." PDF file. No, I don't like that. Stranger danger. So they'll stay away from it. So that's what the hit piece is really being made for. The hit pieces aren't made for me. They're not made for you. They're made for Gen Alpha and whatever comes after Gen Alpha. They want them to look at those people's character and look at them, and their mess ups. And they want them to say, "Oh, this is a bad person because this thing over here." They don't want them to look at the truth. They just want them to look at the character flaws. And I'm not saying that the character flaws aren't relevant, but that's what this whole thing is built upon. So I heard this from Instagram. When a woman call you a very good guy is like it's like a racist putting his arm around put his arm around you and telling you you're one of the good ones. I mean, pretty much. You're one of the good ones. I mean, that's kind of what it is. That's kind of what it is. So.
Because he's like a great fucking man, dude. Like, I don't give a what y'all say. I'm standing 10 toes. That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say I'm obsessed with him and I don't fucking care.
But even today, she's not about milking their dynamic for streaming revenue.
He's just a show. Come on, 90 kids? It's just a show. It's just a show.
I mean,
just
I don't know if I'll be able to push out 90 kids, but
don't be mad at that.
We'll see how far I can go. I definitely want some D1 babies.
Our kids will get to the basketball league, but...
And at one stage, she even provided some deeply ironic advice to the girls on his love show.
Instead of all the sexual I wanted to see ladies being more attentive towards him. Like, y'all know he loves.
All right. This is pretty much the wrap up for this little documentary, I do believe. And she's giving her whole spiel on, I want to see the ladies, value themselves and all this. In case you guys don't know, she's 30. India Love is in her 30s, and now she has to rebrand. She's streaming now, and so now she's talking the whole, I know my value and I know my worth. Well, cool story. Right, you still led women to be generational slores, right? And so this is the whole point that I've been trying to make with this. When it comes to the documentary, I understand why they're putting it out. I think it's a distraction from what's going on with Israel and America. In case you guys didn't know, allegedly the president of Israel is no longer with us. Like, I guess people are like, nobody has seen him. And there's been some weird videos going on, like some AI videos and stuff like that. I don't know. The point is she said, yeah, she's in her 30s. Yeah, she's in her 30s. And so now she has to rebrand. Like what? Kai is like 21, 22. Or no, I think Kai might be 20, 23, 24. And then like people like Speed, 21. And DDG, I think DDG is getting up there. And obviously Duke Dennis is over 30. A lot of the bigger streamers are in their 30s. So this chick, she leads all these people astray with her foolishness. And the Red Pill documentaries, they're coming out like they can stop the bleeding. They can't. The people with the Red Pill knowledge, they want those people to go away. The problem is, the Red Pill has already done the damage. Like, it's already done its job. We already know. And when it comes to Gen Alpha and I guess Gen Bravo, whatever comes after it, those generations, they're not going to be able to date anyways. They're going to see, I promise you, where I'm at, gas is like $7 because of this war. Gas is like, I have a diesel car. Gas is $7 for diesel. You're going to see, if these prices keep going up, you're going to see a whole generation of kids who have no hope. They have no hope, and they're going to see the women sell themselves. And this is why these people are so desperate to get the message out there. Don't listen. Don't listen to what they have to say. Don't listen to what, the red pill has to say. The problem is we're living in an economy where women's only choice is very soon going to be selling themselves. So the men who can't afford this, that, the third, they're going to get completely priced out. So the red pill is going to be, is that you still in Cali? Yeah, man, I got to get up out of here. I got to get up out of here. San Diego is so beautiful, but it's like, man, it's way too expensive. Right? So it's like, we're entering this new economy where the kids who are like 15 and 16, they don't have any choice but to be red pill, because they know they're going to, if you're a 16-year-old boy, you know you're going to be poor. Like, unless you got rich parents, unless you got motion. He said, what kind of California pricing is? Man, look, I'm just hoping the rent don't go up. Man, if the rent go up, I'm headed back. I'm like, okay, I'm out. I'm tapping out. Like, it's bad. It's all bad out here. The rent is way too high. The rent is too high. The gas is too high. The food hasn't gone up that much, but the rent and the gas, oh yeah. But that's what we're talking about here, right? So these kids they're growing up in this world where they're seeing women. They're about to start seeing women sell themselves. They're contending with a monetized dating market, if you will. That's another red pill thing. Coach Greg Adams, right? If you're 15 or 16, you're seeing women only date men who have money. So if you're a 15, 16-year-old boy in high school, you're seeing women only go after guys who have money. The only guys who have money are the guys who stream, or maybe they play football and they got an NIL deal, something like that. They're not, because everybody's broke. So as soon as these girls graduate, they're not struggling with you. They're not waiting for you. Shoot. It is going up too much. This is why I'm like, man, I gotta step on this content making game and try to get back monetized. They demonetized me for reuse content, something like that. I was posting shorts and I was putting captions to other shorts that didn't have captions. They was like, reuse content. I'm like, man, get out of here. So that's why I'm back on the grind. So I think I'm gonna leave it there. I will be back here tomorrow. And Friday. I finally got my rhythm. So we'll be back here tomorrow and Friday, going over some Instagram stuff. But you guys get what's going on. I think it's a bit of a joke what's going on with this hit piece. It's a day late. It's $1 short. And it's coming out at a time where the red pill ideology is going to be forced on people because they're going to watch women in a monetized dating market. And now they're going to have to contend with the after pill. Right? They're going to have to contend with the after pill. That's the Coach Greg Adams stuff. I might tap into that a little bit tomorrow just to rehash this and then get into what we're going to talk about tomorrow. But thank you all for stopping by. I will be back tomorrow. Y'all take it easy. Hopefully the gas prices don't get too high between now and tomorrow. Peace.